Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I love? Patreon.com/inkdependence, where patrons get access to a patron-only Discord, ad-free videos, and the joy of knowing they help support this channel. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and this is a box that usually contains Kaweco Summer Purple. This is an ink that I got sent by Pen Heaven out in the UK. Thank you very much for sending this to me, and I've talked about it a few times, but I've never done a review for it, and that is embarrassing, so sorry about that, Pen Heaven. This is what the bottle looks like. It's a 50 ml bottle. These go for like 12 bucks. These are not very expensive, but it is a very nice bottle. Now, there aren't a whole lot of threads up at the top here, but it's kind of like a jam bottle. We're just sort of lets go like that, which is interesting. You can see there the sort of stopper there. I kind of like this little jam bottle situation. It's going to be very easy to fill a pen from. Very nice wide open in there. Pretty darn good. So let's see what this ink looks like on some paper. All right, so here it is on the Nebula Casual Note paper. You can see it is a very nice sort of lilac-y purple, this summer purple. That's, I think of that as kind of a lilac. Maybe it's some other color, but that's what I think of. It's a little bit on the dry side. I've been using it in this here pen, a Faber-Castell Hexo, which is a really nice pen, and this also came from Pen Heaven. That's kind of how long I've had this because I inked it up immediately with this ink, and they engraved it with my logo and stuff, which is super nice. So go see Pen Heaven if they still have this ink, and go say hi. This has been a really cool pen. I really like the Hexo. I had one of these in champagne before they sent me this blue one. This is a fine nib here, I think. Nope, it's a medium. This is a medium nib on here. Actually, let's see if there's any ink in here. Yep, a bit. Now, one of the reasons that not very much left, actually. So one of the reasons that I took so long to review this ink is that I kept running out of ink. Every time I went to write the review, my pen was dry. So that would just put it on the back burner again, because I just kept using it up. And this pen doesn't have the most fabulous cap seal, perhaps. It's pretty good. It keeps it wet for a long time, but I don't know, maybe I just kept using it. I don't really think about it. It's just when I reach for it and put it in my pocket, because I really like the pen and I like the ink a lot. So this is a good color of purple, and you can see actually out of the pen, it is much darker from this medium nib. You do definitely get a little bit of shading sometimes, and maybe even I don't know. I don't really see any sheen on here. I kind of remembered it having sheen, but I don't really see any there, so I'm glad I didn't write that down. Did have some minor bleed on the 20-pound paper. We'll see that here in a little bit, but you definitely get some shading. It's kind of a, violet, eggplant, kind of lilac-y. It's somewhere in there. Maybe that's eggplant. Maybe that's egg. I don't know. It's too light here for eggplant, but I think the writing is eggplant. It's a really interesting dichotomy there. So there you go. I do like it. It's a kind of as I say here, it's a laid back kind of purple, and it's kind of chill. I wish it was a little bit more intense, but it's really doing an interesting thing there with the purple. And like a lot of the Kaweco inks, it is a little bit on the dry side. Not terribly dry, but a little bit there. So let's go ahead and do our water drop test, and we'll take a look at it on some other papers, look at chromatography, look at a bunch of purples near it, because I've got some purples in this area. Spray it on there with my little water bottle here. It's a very handy little bottle. A little shimmy, get some more coverage. All right, so it's pretty apparent to me that this is going to have some amount of resistance, although a lot of the purple's coming away. So let's blot this up right there. Sound off in the comments if you have never accidentally poured a liquid on your writing stuff before, because I definitely have. Usually for me, it's coffee that gets slopped over, or water, because that's mostly what I'm drinking. But yeah, so definitely got a lot of purple coming off here on my little paper towel square. But there's actually a lot left here. It's a very exciting, sort of a greenish grayish color. So that's really nice. You can see a little bit of the purple left there, but the rest of it came off. You're just left with a greenish grayish color. So that's actually pretty good. I'm not going to say it's water resistant as a purple, but as sort of a gray, it is. And there it is on, this is not my chromatography paper. This is number 4 bleached coffee filter, which is actually really hard to get right now. So I stopped using it, but kind of a greenish gray down here. And then a bunch of lavender and pink up at the top. So that's cool. Yeah, this is actually very effective at sticking around on the paper. That's pretty good. Pretty darn cool. All right, our first paper here is our Staples 20-pound 30% recycled copy paper. This is from your office copier, probably. And it worked pretty well on here. I had a couple of little tiny feathers, like Maybe there is a little bit of feathering on that F, but that's pretty good. On the back, you do get a few little bits of bleed. It's not bad. It's not perfect. I mean, this Dominant Industry base black was extremely good on there, with just like a couple tiny spots coming through. This one, pretty okay, but I kind of expected it to have even less bleed through, given that it's a little bit on the dry side. So I don't know. It's okay. I think if you're using it a fine nib, it would probably be totally fine on this copy paper. Next up, my Moraman Croaky. That is spelled, oh no, it's not. I got it wrong. This is Sanzan Tomoe River. I forgot I've mixed a few of these in. That's fun. So this is Sanzan Tomoe River, and it works really well on this paper. I like the way that it gives me a little bit more shading than I'm used to seeing, but you know, you definitely get a little bit of shading there. No feathering, none of that jazz. I like the Sanzan Tomoe River paper pretty darn well, and you know, nothing at all came through here. In fact, it barely ghosts. You could absolutely use the backside of this paper with no problem, even with a dark ink on it. So that's actually pretty impressive. Good job, Sanzan Tomoe River. I did get a couple little smears there, but I think that's from me just like throwing the paper off to the side when I was done writing and not letting it dry. So there you go. But looks very nice on this paper. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good here. Is it still smearing? No, that's just from the drying. Good. I'm glad. I just wanted to test because I have one here and here. So it must have been like I put a piece of paper on top of it before. It was quite dry. But yeah, worked out real well. Next up, Inky Fingers Currently Ink Notebook. This is my older notebook because I've had this ink in here since May, June, July of 2022, probably when I got this this pen and ink. And as you can see here, it's a little bit on the dry side on this paper. Like it just really didn't write super well when I started out. I think maybe I just needed to clean the pen out a little bit, but it's coming off a little bit pale on here, and you can tell it's a little bit dry when you can actually see the lines on the paper from where it's sort of like the nib made an impact, and so the ink like sank down into it. So yeah, it's just a little bit on the dry side maybe there, but it's pretty okay on this paper. It's not my favorite. And lastly, for papers, before we get to ink comparisons, this is my everyday notebook from Galen Leather with regular old original Tomoe River. And there it is on the original Tomoe River. It's a little bit paler than it is on our Sanzan paper, but not too much. It's a nice purple, kind of medium, a little bit washed out looking perhaps, but not too bad. Okay, comparisons. Here it is on our Colodex card. There's a little bit of sheen there. I was remembering this had some sheen, but I didn't really see it in the other bit here from the Nebula note. Just didn't really get any sheen on there, which is interesting. Maybe it just needs a lot of ink to give me that sheen. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. There's the Colodex. You can find a link to those down below in the description. I pulled a few interesting inks to go with this one. Firstly, one that you don't see, or I don't see enough, I think, which is franklin-christoph's Tenebris Purpuratum, which is just like night purple. And this is a much darker purple, I think, than this one. It's got a different kind of grapey character to it that this one doesn't have. And I pulled Crosspens Deep Dark Purple, kind of the same deal. Like it's got the shading in there, or rather the sheen in there that you have in here, but this one definitely darker and more grapey. Also, thanks, Eleanor. Next up, one of my favorites, Cross Violet here. And I think Cross Violet is kind of close. This one is a little bit lighter and maybe, I don't know, cooler, I guess, in tone than Summer Purple. But yeah, just kind of a slightly different color, I guess. But yeah, kind of close. And lastly, because it looked a little bit similar, Lamy Dark Lilac. The Kaweco Summer Purple, I think if it was wetter, or maybe I keep trying to brush off a hair, and the hair is actually on my screen. It's right there. I got it. That's why I keep brushing at it. That's a little behind the scenes for you, how the sausage is made. So Lamy Dark Lilac here and here looks pretty well the same, but Dark Lilac has a lot more sheen on it than you'll ever get from Summer Purple. So kind of similar in terms of the base color, very different in terms of sheen potential. That's what you got to see there. So there you go. That's been Kaweco Summer Purple. This is a very interesting ink that I think I must like more than I think, and I just kind of kept using it up before I could review it. That's a thing that happens. I got it on my hands from opening the bottle. Little shards got me from there. Anyway, yeah, I just kind of kept using it up before I could review it. And that's a sign that I must like the ink a little bit more than I even think I did, which is kind of fun, right? So yeah, pretty darn cool. Pretty cool. Thanks very much, Pen Heaven. Go see Pen Heaven for your fountain pen needs, especially if you are out in London. Go see Pen Heaven. And until next time, peace out.